afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday, the 9th of March. Robert Murray McShane's family readings today have us reading Exodus chapter 20 and Luke chapter 23, and there's an interesting link in them. In Exodus, Moses goes up the mountain to meet with God. God descends on the mountain, covers it with cloud. There's this roaring sound that sounds like a trumpet, but not quite, and it's all very dramatic. And we're told in verse 18, when the people saw the thunder and lightning and heard the trumpet and saw the mountain in smoke, they trembled with fear. They stayed at a distance and said to Moses, "Speak to us yourself and we will listen, but do not have God speak to us or we will die." And that is the right response when you come into the presence of the living God. It would overwhelm one. As a sinner coming into that perfect holiness, it would just be, as Isaiah said, "Woe is me, I am undone." And that was exactly what the Israelites sensed as they saw God's presence on the mountain. And then in Luke's gospel, we're reading the story of the crucifixion. And here we have Jesus, very God of very God, co-eternal with the Father, in whom the fullness of the Godhead dwells in bodily form. All of those great theological principles of the divinity of Christ and the mystery of his humanity and divinity cohering in one being. And yet we have Jesus, this glorious God, hanging on the cross. And far from the people trembling with fear and turning away and not wanting to come close, we're told that the people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at him. They said, "He saved others, let him save himself if he's the Christ of God, the chosen one." The soldiers also came up and mocked him. And having read of the people of Israel's response to God on the mountain and see the current leadership and the Romans' response to God on the cross on the mountain, just highlighted the extent to which Jesus humbled himself. He gave up his Godhead. He gave up all that was his due. He humbled himself and took the form of a servant. Absolutely. And that is just so clear. Had those people been able to see the Godhead within him, had they seen the divine Christ shining through his humanity, they would have responded very, very differently. But that is just a real symbol of God's love, that he was prepared to humble himself and to have people deal with him in that way out of love for fallen humanity. So that is how much you and I matter to God, this God that we could never approach except for Christ. So hang on to that, be amazed at it, wonder at this glorious, loving, compassionate God, and know that we are safe in his hands. Be blessed.